In a time and place when you can get swindled on Airbnbs from anywhere.
Two ladies in their mid to late 27s have decided to
not take this shit anymore.
Your gringas have arrived in Prague, but it's not what they signed up for.
Carrie's hot Tinder date doesn't go as planned.
Who hops trains on a first date?
Kelly almost dies in the bathroom.
It's time to get the fuck out of the Czech Republic.
This is the Workationing Podcast.
So we're in Prague.
We are, but not for much longer.
No, girl, we can't wait to get out of here, can we?
No, I don't think I hate Prague, but this whole situation has been not ideal.
This is not what we signed up for, I'll tell you that much. So let's start at the beginning. So we leave Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get out of Vegas any sooner, I didn't think.
No, and we were excited, even though I have to say flying from Vegas to Prague, that is not a fun flight.
No, that was a miserable bitch. Just a cranky, PMS-y, mad bitch.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. And we had a layover in Frankfurt, Germany.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a tight layover. It was like 2 hours, but our flight was a little bit delayed.
Yeah, and then also Frankfurt Airport. I have been to a lot of airports, and something about airports is that no matter how complex they look, they're actually pretty hard to get lost in. Usually they're set up like the way they set up slaughterhouses, you know. They just kind of put you through the process and you end up where you're supposed to be, whether you like it or not. But not with Frankfurt. Frankfurt was a mystery from beginning to end and enormous somehow.
I am not one to shy away from asking for help. Hey, you're wearing a uniform. You look official. Can you tell me how to get to this place? And every time I asked somebody that, they looked at me like I was asking where the door to Narnia was.
Yeah, it was like the nerve. Like the nerve to even ask.
I'm just trying to catch my connection, right? And we had to go through customs, but then we had to leave the ticketed area. We ended up back in line to get our stuff rescanned. We've got the podcast equipment. We've already talked about that. You know they flagged you twice.
Every time. I can't go through security without taking it all out.
We look very suspicious.
So suspicious.
Long story short, your grinkas missed their flight by 2 minutes. Literally 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was really brutal. And at that point, we were goddamn near delirious anyways.
I was so tired.
We were so tired.
And let me be clear, I am still not feeling well from Acapulco.
No, like it's been a couple of weeks and it's just, I have to say, I mean, I know that the jet lag is brutal, but we've only been here in Prague for a week. And I feel like I have slept for just most of it.
Yeah, I'm still not feeling at 100. I would say closer to 80.
Yeah.
85 is where I'm at right now. But when I got here, I was a low 70. You know?
Yeah, no, listen, Kari and I are not at all the kind of people to sleep until 1 p.m.
Not me in particular.
No, not you in particular. Like, listen, I will. Like, push me and I will. I've been known to. But it's like, even that's like once in a blue moon kind of thing for me.
Right.
But we've just been every day, like at 1, dragging ourselves out of bed. Luckily, we have this 6-hour advantage out here.
Yes.
So we're 6 hours ahead of the East Coast. So when we're dragging ourselves out of bed at 1 p.m, we're not completely, it's still just morning on the East Coast. So it hasn't been a complete disaster. But we're struggling. Struggle bus.
So we arrive at the gate. And the kind lady says, ladies, I see you're sweating. It looks like you've been running for approximately 2.3 miles.
Right.
Just a quick 5K.
Our inexplicably large airport.
Had you gotten here 2 minutes earlier, I would have been able to open this door and let you walk on through. Not today, ladies.
Yeah. So that was a complete nightmare. It took us forever to find a place where we could book another flight, get that all handled. No one was helpful. No one was clear about what was going on. That was rough.
Well, the good news is we got to spend an extra 8 hours in an airport lounge.
We do love a good airport lounge. And that one was actually, we tried that cool one with the bed.
Yeah, because we were so tired. And so I have a priority pass. It came with my Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card. That's not a plug for that credit card. It's just a perk of having it. Mm-hmm. But the priority pass lets you into airport lounges around the world. And the only airport that we have been to that has not had a priority pass lounge was in Aguada, Puerto Rico. Or excuse me, the Aguadilla.
Right.
Airport.
When that one's just really small.
Right,
I
it's
wouldn't
tiny.
expect it to.
No, there were like 15 people flying out of there.
Yeah, there were like 5 gates or something.
You could see them all.
Yeah.
It was definitely not a Frankfurt kind of situation. But there were a couple of different airport lounges that we could have taken advantage of while we were in Frankfurt, which is great because we were there for so long. But one of them was this like nap room sleepy pod thing.
Yeah, it was like a little tiny room and it had this couch in it, and the couch had a little like trundle bed pull out. So we were like stacked in there. Like
I took the top bunk, Kelly took the bottom.
Yeah. We were just like, good night.
We napped for a little bit. It was good. I was happy to have that.
It was really helpful because we're not above sacking out on the floor at the airport, but like no one's ever really excited about doing that.
No, you're in your own little room, so you get to close and lock the door. They have showers there if you want to do that. Airport lounges tend to have showers. I'm going to shower in an airport lounge at some point. That is on my bucket list.
I don't really like showering in public places.
It sounds like a weird thing to do, so I just want to say that I've done it.
I'm going to go ahead and pass on that. I'll just be stanky on the plane.
Well, we took advantage of that nap room, and we didn't have to worry about somebody stealing our stuff or anything like that. So I felt like I got to rest for a little while, and it was free. If we didn't have the priority pass, it would have been $20 an hour.
Yeah, and that's kind of a lot. We're gringos on a budget.
Right. Are you going to take a $100 nap?
No, I'm sure not.
I'm not. No, the airport floor is looking real good to me. I've got that neck napper pillow that I can just lay on top of. It's good.
Well, and honestly, by the time I'm to the point that I'm considering the airport floor, I would sleep anywhere, literally anywhere.
Yeah. I look at the way that the airports are designed and the chairs that they have. And in most airports, they have arms in between all of the chairs.
I'm sure that's intentional.
Yeah, so you can't lay down there. And I'm like, well, this is your fuck up, man. I'm here because your plane was delayed. Can you please give me a comfortable place to sleep that's not the floor?
Right.
Just a little nap section? That would be great. Can I leave my bags with you so I don't have to worry about them getting stolen? I think that the airlines could do a much better job of being more accommodating to passengers who were just roughed up after some incompetency and who knows what. I hate delays. I hate delayed flights.
Yeah, that was a brutal one, especially because it was such a long one. So we did finally, however, get to Prague. I don't even know. We had been traveling for what felt like days.
It was days.
It's like an Oregon Trail sort of situation.
We had to fjord a river.
Yeah, some people got malaria and didn't make it. But we did finally make it. And we got there, and our Airbnb host, I got in touch with him when we landed because I had been sort of in touch with him over the last few days.
Right.
And we get there, and he's like, oh, so the place that you booked, the pipes broke or something. Like there was no hot water.
Right.
I didn't quite understand it. There was a little bit of, like, he spoke okay English, but there was like a little bit of a language barrier there. And he was like, but don't worry, I've got this other place. It's just as good. It's better, actually.
That's what he said. He said it was better.
It's bigger.
We were excited about the original place. It was in a prime location right downtown.
Yeah.
We could have walked to all kinds of different things.
Right. But we were just so exhausted that, like, this guy said that there was a place that we could go and put our bags down and go to sleep. And we were like, sold.
Yes, that's great.
That is fine. So we went there, and I think that it took us like a full 48 hours to even crawl out from under our rock enough to realize that, like, we were very far from anything, really.
Yes. The buildings were very colorful. And I thought, oh, well, this is kind of a cool design. And, you know, I don't know what Eastern Europe is supposed to look like. I've seen Hostel. They didn't make it seem that snazzy. But, you know, I've also seen lots of travel blogs that make Prague in particular look like a really gorgeous city. And I'm looking around at our buildings and the buildings around it and the stores around it. And I'm just like, are we in the projects? I think we're in the communist projects. What do the communist projects even look like?
I mean, I will say that they seemed pretty nice to me. Like, I
have lived in shittier apartments in college, for sure, in Pittsburgh.
I've lived in scarier neighborhoods. Absolutely.
I don't know that you can say that. I think that this was a weird, different kind of scary.
Yeah, I think it was the kind of scary that we had a harder time identifying. Because didn't you have somebody say something crazy about it?
I went out. I'll have to tell I went out on a date with a guy from Tinder story later on in the podcast. But yeah, the dude from Tinder got my address so he could come and pick me up in his car. And he was like, "You're staying where?" And I was like, "Here." And he says, "Shit. do I need to bring my gun and bulletproof vest? And I was like, I don't know, do you? Because I've been walking around out here at night by myself on the phone. I'm a pacer, and I thought better of it. I went inside eventually because I was just like, I don't really, this is, looks a little sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looked fine mostly. I wouldn't have clocked it as a dangerous place. I'm still not really sure how to feel about that because it really didn't seem dangerous to me. Although, you know what? I do realize that, we've gone places like Acapulco. But beyond Acapulco, let me just tell you about the east side of Cleveland. There's plenty of places where you don't stop your car. It doesn't matter what the light says. You just keep going, girl.
No, seriously, when I was in college, I lived legitimately above a crack whore. And her name was Ramona. And she would turn her blinds one way, and it had green on the one side. She had painted the long ways blinds green on one side. That meant that she was available and like open for business. And then she would turn them the normal white side, and that meant that she was napping. Oh, taking a break. It was her day off.
Oh, man.
No, that was $180 a month I paid. Shared that apartment with 2 other people. But long story short, I've seen some shit too. And I'm not saying that there were a lot of Ramonas that I clocked walking around our neighborhood, but there were some signs. The grocery store was really not that great.
I mean, it was like a real food desert situation.
There were a lot of very bizarre stores that you know how sometimes when you go into bad neighborhoods and you're just like, another cell phone repair store?
Yeah. The apartment itself, I mean, it's not that bad.
No, it's big enough. We've got our own rooms. I was very disappointed about the secret room.
Yeah, there were 3 bedrooms in there, and only one of the bedrooms had a double bed, and it was broken. And then there was this 4th room that we thought was just a closet, because oftentimes Airbnbs will have
a locked closet.
Like where they just keep their whatever shit they don't want you rifling through, I guess. And this one we thought was a closet, but the guy came in one day to get something, and I noticed that door was like a little bit ajar. And listen, if you're going to leave a door open, I'm going to shoulder my way right through it.
Let's just tripped into that.
Yeah, like whoops-a-daisy.
What's this room?
And it's just like a whole other room with another double bed.
That looked not broken.
Yeah, so somebody could have slept in there, but whatever. I don't know. It's a very European space in that like there is a central, very small kitchen and like little sitting area, like a table, but there's no living room but I mean, I don't know. They're just more economical with their space out in Europe. Like people just don't live in giant spaces.
No. Yeah, I guess the space itself is okay. At least it has hot water. But we're not anywhere within walking distance of really anything except for a very sketchy grocery store.
Yeah, and that makes it difficult when we're working. Like being close to things and the ability to walk around, not have to Uber everywhere, and all of that is really crucial to making this work both logistically and on a budget.
Right.
So that was actually kind of a problem. Although initially this guy told us it was only going to be a day or 2. It's a week later. We're still here.
Right.
So,
excuse me, sir. I have questions.
I also have questions about this bathroom. Now, I understand that the Europeans have a slightly different version of like the whole bathroom situation in Europe is just different.
It is.
Actually, American bathrooms are kind of like a very singular thing. There aren't a lot of people in the world. I don't know if there's anywhere else in the world that feels like it's okay to wake up every morning and take a shit directly into 10 to 15 gallons of potable water.
Yeah. We've got a lot of large bathtubs in the U.S. too. You don't see too many of those.
No.
Out here in Europe. Usually you've got a tiny little shower stall.
Yeah, and like bathtubs aren't a huge, like people just treat water differently. Like we're assholes about water in the U.S.
Yeah, but call me an asshole, but I don't like water all over the floor. And it would be great if this shower was designed to keep more than half of the water in the tub.
Well, it was crazy as we got there, and the guy was like, well, you're really gonna love this bathroom. It's all new. And like they had redone it, but God, that tile was just like somebody's grandma's tile.
It was
like,
very yellow, very mustard yellow.
Good. And then, but the bathroom did look nice, but what we didn't realize is that it was like it looked like a bathtub with a shower, like a traditional kind of bathtub shower situation, except that the shower head was coming out of the bathtub, so it was very low, and the length on that was not, it wasn't long enough for Kari.
No, I took a shower first and I was like, Kelly, you're going to have to squat down in this tub in order to wash your hair because you're trying to shampoo with one hand and you've got the shower head in your other hand.
No, and if you let it go, it goes all snaky and all over the place, just like, spraying everywhere. A real fire hose situation.
Oh, I ended up just sitting down in the tub. Yeah, washing my hair that way.
Yeah, I had to sit.
Because I'm doing an arm motion now of trying to pull a shower nozzle thing over my head, and it hits about where my temple is, and then I've got to kind of like tilt my head under. And Kelly, you're a solid 6 inches taller than I am.
Yeah, no, it's a real shit show. And also, listen, I'm one of these people. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I just want to take a nice relaxing bath. You know who never does? Is me. I feel like baths are disgusting. I just feel like it's butt soup. Like I can't even get past it. Like if I shower first and get into a bath that I somehow have cleaned enough that I feel like it's clean enough, I still within 5 seconds I'm like, this is disgusting and I have to get out. There's something about it that really, so trust that sitting on the floor of the shower while washing myself is not, it's just, for me, I'm not getting that squeaky clean feeling that I crave.
No, I would save the like body washing for last so that I could wash after I had sat down to, wash my hair.
Yeah, I mean, I did my best.
I also shower after bath.
Yeah, for me, the things that I need to do to make a bath enjoyable are just so much that like I'm never going to do it. Ever. Well,
and you couldn't do it in that place. Also, watch your femur on that step down from the bathtub because
the bathtub is weirdly like elevated. It's kind of up further than you'd think. So when you step out, you're not just stepping out of the bathtub, you're stepping out of the bathtub plus like 4 or 5 inches. That last step's a doozy. And it's all wet and there's nothing you can hold on to and like that glass is going to shatter. Like it's really just not.
It's a real death trap. The bathroom here.
Yeah, and the button on the toilet keeps getting stuck. And there's just the one.
I was like, Kelly, I broke the toilet. And I did break the toilet, but Kelly got in there with a butter knife and fixed it.
Listen, desperate times, because without getting too horrific with you, we are not recovered from Acapulco.
No.
We're still having some issues.
We don't talk about that. We're ladies.
Yeah. But a non-functioning bathroom is really not an option for us right now.
No, it's not at all. And I had this brief moment of terror where I thought, oh, no, it's broken. But I know we both need to use it again and probably real soon, knowing us.
Yeah.
At this juncture.
This cold TGI Fridays we ordered from a freaking hour away because there's nowhere else to order food from.
No, but just the taste of home. I was so happy to have
just the cold, soggy taste of home.
Yeah, we've had better eats.
I have had no good food in Prague. Not a bite of good food. I've had some slimy ass sausages and some cold ass TGI Fridays, and I don't really blame Prague for that. The circumstances have just not been such that we could do anything like that.
Well, I went out on that date.
I completely bailed on my date. There had been a guy that there's a guy that I've been talking to since Acapulco with the intention of I was going to go out with him here. Mm-hmm. He has one of the biggest Spanish language like political YouTube channels or something like that.
Right.
Actually seems like a really interesting guy, super cute. I just decided to sleep instead.
You're like, I could have met the love of my life that night. Or I could have stayed in these sweatpants.
And you know what I did, and I have no regrets because I'm just not. I am dying still.
I think I'm a little more recovered than you, but yeah. So I got on out there with this Tinder dude who was really cute, very funny, spoke 3 languages, and is very well traveled.
A polyglot,
right? Just like checking all kinds of boxes over there. He makes his money via passive revenue generation.
I get hard for that.
Just the holy grail.
That mailbox links. Money.
Yeah, the mailbox money. Mailbox money, for those of you who don't know or watch a little show called Southern Charm.
Carrie and I love to relax with just some real trash sometimes.
When I turn my brain off, I turn it all the way off.
Right.
Southern Charm does that. See also Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, no, I need to watch that while I also play like Candy Crush or something on my phone because I need I need my brain to be, I don't want to be able to have like a single thought sneak in. You know? It has to be like, my full bandwidth has to be taken up with just
trash.
It's the only way I can calm down.
Well, in Southern Charm, the cute guy,
Shep.
Yeah, he's like a golden retriever, right?
He is. He's like a golden retriever as a person.
It's true. Kind of doofy.
Mm-hmm.
But cute.
Cute.
Yeah, you want to take him home to mama, but he keeps running away.
Mm-hmm.
Shep says that he likes mailbox money, and mailbox money is money that just comes in your mailbox and you don't really even have to worry about it. So maybe that's through investments, or maybe that's through you've got some webinar classes, or you're selling some trainings or affiliate links, whatever it is. Mailbox money is what Kelly and I'm
gonna get on this mailbox money grift.
We're after it. This is our goal for 2018. And probably workationing is just get on that mailbox money grift.
Well, because here's the thing. We figured out how to work all the time while traveling. I would really like to just cut out the working part.
Well, that's what my Tinder dude did. And I was just like, well, snaps on snaps on snaps. And he was into crypto. And he thought it was very cool that I was into crypto. And it was a really fun date. And we went walking along the river. And I posted a video on Facebook of there was this boat that had a jacuzzi in it. And there was an Eastern European man, shirtless naturally, in a Speedo in the hot tub.
They do love their Speedos out here. It's like not even a weird thing.
Just eating meats and cheeses.
They do love, everywhere I went in Prague, they were like, are these meats and cheeses. Which, listen, I do love a good charcuterie.
Yes.
I'm not going to say no, but It does seem to be like a big thing.
I mean, when that's all you have, you're just like, God, this meat is pretty salty.
It's just like the salt. I'm sure that it's that the sausage and meat situation in the U.S. is probably very fucked up, right? But we're just used to it. Probably that is what you actually should. I mean, I say should be eating. I don't know that anyone should be eating sausage. Let's be real.
I don't know. My bologna has a first name. It's OSCAR.
Yeah. Well, that is not what this is. This bologna has some personality, though. I'll tell you that.
So we went out and we had a really weird time. And I did not get into that hot tub boat.
Talk about butt soup, man.
Oh, no, but I had this like thought that I just kind of let linger of like, maybe I did get on that boat. And then maybe I was hostiled away. Or maybe I fell in love with the Speedo man eating the meat and cheese in the hot tub. There are just any number of things that could have happened as I sailed off into that sunset. But instead I stayed on the dock, got on a different boat. There are all these boats that you can drink on. And so we went boat hopping and then popped a quick dinner, and it was good. And then he took me to a couple of underground clubs in the city, and that was an experience. The one that I went to, the first one, had these cool fob things that you prepay for your drinks on, and then when you're at the bar, there's no money that exchanges hands. You just give them your little fob thing, and they scan it, and it deducts the money from your register. The bartender there made my drink, and I watched her cough into her hand, and then immediately with that same hand dig her hand into the ice bin, put that coffee ice into my cup. She poured liquor into it.
Well, then it's fine.
I know, that's what my date said, and I was like, well, then you can have that one. I'm gonna get a beer.
Yeah.
I just I couldn't. I was just sick. I'm not trying to roll those dice. I feel like I've got a compromised immune system still.
Yeah, and it's always the ice that gets us.
It is. It's always the ice. Ice is really filthy, and I saw how dirty it was in that bar. But otherwise, it was really cool. It kind of looked like the inside of a graffitied-up skate park. I would have been scared. I wasn't. It seemed very hipster.
I don't know if you could even really scare us anymore.
No. No.
Like after Acapulco, I just can't imagine looking at anything and not being like, you know what? This seems fine.
Acapulco? No. Medellin. Like, Once you've seen cartel types and they've flown drones into your window?
Yeah.
Once you've tangoed with some sex tourists up at the rooftop pool?
I mean, even then, I feel like I would, after Acapulco, though, I'd go back to Medellin in a second. I'll get a timeshare. You know?
You would not get a timeshare.
You know somebody's selling them.
You'd sit through the presentation.
Absolutely.
For a free night at a hotel, though, wouldn't you?
I sure would. They'll be like, here, we got you this free set of golf clubs just for sitting through the presentation.
I'm going to call you every week for the next year.
Until you die.
Or buy my timeshare.
And I'd be like, that's it. Where do I cut this check?
So we were going from one place to the next, and he's like, well, let's just take the tram. And I was like, okay. And he's like, oh, here, hop on. And so I hop on, and then we go to get off, and I was like, well, don't you have to pay? And he was like, no, come on off. And I was like, okay, because it was my stop, and I wasn't trying to hold up the train.
Socialism at work. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I was just like, well, maybe they're free here. We hadn't taken any trams.
Right.
So I didn't know. And so 2 steps off of the train, I was like, so they're free here? And he said, oh, no, I just never pay for trams.
I hate that shit.
I was just like, did you just turn me into a hobo on our first date? Like a fucking train hopper? Like, where's my goddamn bindle? No.
I always feel like that's I don't know. To me, it's just like integrity is a big thing. I had this ex-boyfriend that no matter what at Giant Eagle, this is a grocery store if you're not from that part of the world.
Right. The dirty bird.
The dirty bird. Big bird. Giant Eagle Market District. God, suburban people just turn up for that. But anyways, he would always mark whatever like of the dry goods we got in the grocery store as something less expensive. And it just seemed like such a like a petty crime.
Is this the ex that I know?
No, this is the most recent one.
Oh, I would really like another reason to hate him. That seems like a good one.
No, he would never. He had integrity. But this last one did not. And it was just like, no matter what, he would always do that. And I was just like, is your integrity worth this? Worth the like, 60 cents a pound you're saving yourself or whatever?
No, how much was that tram ride? Like $2? But dude, you lost me at that $2 train hop. I had the cash.
Right. Like there's like being a conscientious objector, and then there's being a piece of shit.
Yeah, that was a real piece of shit move, and I didn't appreciate the way that he just dragged me into it like that was going to be okay. That was ultimately the deal breaker for me. Because he wants to like meet up in other places because he travels all over, and that sounds very romantic and cool and whatnot. But how many trams can you hop before you get popped and end up seeing the inside of an Eastern European jail? I don't want to go there.
No. I've always been team don't go to jail. I have done a lot of stupid things in my life, but that's because I've generally been a white lady in places where I don't even know what I would have to do to go to jail, really. And I know that's a terrible thing, but it's a privilege of which I am well aware. Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason I've acted up with shenanigans in my life, because let me tell you, I cannot think of anything worse than prison.
No.
Just the thought of it. I can't deal with the idea that I would be locked up with somewhere and not able to leave.
No, and with who?
Right.
What type of people? Maybe those people need to be there, not like you.
Right? Not like me. I'm a nice lady.
Yes.
Like, I just can't. And so, like, I'm always, I don't know. And being locked up abroad, listen, that's a show.
No, and we've learned that we can't act up the same way we can in the U.S.
No.
Out here in the world.
No. In the U.S., like, a white lady can really just act a fool. Mm-hmm. Just really get turned up on some Chardonnay and really fuck some shit up.
Yeah, Susan had a bad Tuesday.
Yeah.
Taking it out at the TGI Friday staff.
Right. And somebody's going to just help that lady home,
mm-hmm. Susan, I know. It's been a rough week.
Yeah, but not out in the world. No. I'm not trying to break any kind of laws because they don't find me as cute out here.
No. And also, I could bail you out of a U.S. jail. I know. I've got lawyers.
Right.
Girl.
And I've got my like best friend back home is a lawyer. Actually, a lot of my friends back home are lawyers. Like I would have multiple people to call. I know those numbers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I know the process.
Yeah.
So I would just kind of sit there and wait for them to law and order it out. And then somebody would let me out, I'm sure.
Yeah. You just don't want to go in on a Friday or Saturday night because they don't let you out until Monday.
Right.
I've had that happen to a couple of friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally innocent in the end, obviously, but just had to wait for that judge to get out of the tank. So, yeah, I can't get down with that. No. I don't care how glamorous that life is. And you make a lot of money and you're going to steal what can't be more than a $3 tram ride?
Yeah, I just feel like there's all kinds of red flags with that. Like if you're willing to compromise your integrity for that little, then I feel like your integrity really isn't worth much to you.
Right.
Which means you probably don't really have any.
No, and if you're not ashamed to do that on a first date, what are you going to do on the 10th date? Is that like armed robbery? Do I drive the getaway car?
Right. He's just like, oh, no, I never pay for this for jewelry.
He's like, drive real fast.
Yeah.
I have to pee. No, I'm not going to be chased. Okay, so that was kind of a no-go for me. I've been talking to a guy in Amsterdam, though, and I'm looking forward to meeting him. I've been talking to the guy in Amsterdam since Acapulco as well. Might have even been Montreal. I pre-Tindered Amsterdam early on.
I think it was Acapulco because I think you started talking to him when we were at the Los Flamingos. I have just a weird memory of that.
Okay. He's got the cute cat photo.
He does. That looks like a good cat.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good time. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully, he doesn't turn me into like a rail hopper.
I mean, I hope not. That would be a weird thing to happen twice. But, maybe it's a thing out here. I don't know.
No. I hope it's not a thing out here. We were supposed to stay here longer.
Yeah, we were supposed to be here for at least another week. We booked this place for another week, and then we thought we would probably re-up for another 2 weeks after that. But things in Prague just have not been going great. We're having a hard time dealing with our Airbnb host because he's trying to act like it's not weird that he did this to us.
No, and that we're nowhere near the city center.
Yeah.
It's a solid 20-minute Uber ride into the city.
Yeah, at least. So on this trip, we have had many situations that we wish we had gotten out of sooner. And we always look back, and when we do these episodes of like where we went wrong, we constantly, the one thing that keeps coming up is like, well, why did we do that if it was terrible?
Right. Why did we stay in that shitty situation?
Yeah. And Prague itself is not shitty, but the situation is shitty.
How many more showers can you take like that?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in that.
I've got a bad knee. I'm real worried about that step.
Yeah, it just hasn't felt right the entire time. And kind of this whole time we've both been eyeing Amsterdam because it's my favorite city that I've been to.
It's my favorite city that I've been to too.
So I was only there once and I spent just a few days there, but I like completely fell in love. It looks like the Tinder situation in Amsterdam is just muy caliente.
Just so hot. Just
fire emojis.
And eggplants.
Yeah. Just a lot of like beardy looking talent. Just a lot of dudes looking like maybe they do woodworking on the weekends.
I'm not seeing too many guys my type on Tinder in Prague.
I think I haven't found a lot of that either.
And then I found one and he made me hop a train.
Yeah, that's a sign. I see a lot of promise in Amsterdam for the Tinder situation. We also got a line on this sweet apartment. It is so expensive to stay in Amsterdam. And like this whole year, we've kind of been eyeing Amsterdam, but at the same time, not really knowing how we were going to make it happen because it's just so fucking expensive.
It is. You look at the Airbnb prices, and in Medellin, we paid $14.90 or $14.70,
something like that,
per month for a sick penthouse apartment with a rooftop pool. You're going to get some sex tourists in there. There might be a cartel guy flying a drone in your window. You just shut your blinds, gringa. But cheap and good. And then in Acapulco, it was beautiful. I mean, that had its own challenges and drawbacks. It wasn't all positives over there, but we had a 4-bedroom palatial apartment.
Yeah, that was one of the, if you just separated it from all of the circumstances surrounding it, that was probably the nicest place I've ever stayed in my life.
Aguada, Puerto Rico clocked in at, I think it was like $17,
something like that. Yeah.
Per month. And that was a nice apartment. We could walk to the beach. That track was right there. It was in a safe area. There were lots of restaurants. It was in a happening place, So like we've paid some money, but not that much money for rent around the world via Airbnb. You go to Amsterdam and it goes up to like $4,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, and that bed is going to be a single.
And sometimes for a 1-bedroom, it's usually more like a 1-bedroom with like a pull-out couch or just a couch situation. Mm-hmm. So you've got one person that's out, and which you and I live together really well. If I could do that with anybody, I could do it with you. But it's really not ideal when you're already working together all day long to like. I mean, everybody needs to like go and close a door.
Yes.
At a certain point. Also, we're both dating. We're single ladies out here on the prowl. And I'm not trying to bring some dude home to my sofa bed, No,
that's not a good look.
No, it's not cute.
It says very couch surfing.
Yeah, so that's not ideal. But what we did is Kari actually found, it's like an expat rental.
Yeah, so that guy on Tinder with the cat was just like, why are you spending money on Airbnbs? Why don't you go through one of these expat rental services? And I was like, well, because I've never heard of that before.
I literally did not know that was a thing.
I did not either. And it's called in Amsterdam, literally expat rental services. And do you want an apartment for a couple of months? This is the best solution that, as far as I can see. This guy, what's his name? Klaus.
No.
Listen, Klaus hooked us up with a 2-bedroom, huge apartment, and it shares a wall with the Rembrandt Museum.
The location is sick.
It's a corner unit with canal views from like all windows. From what the pictures
it looks
say.
nicer than any of the Airbnbs that we were looking at for literally half the price.
It's less than half the price. It's like a third of the price, because if we were going to get something comparable like that, it'd be even more than that. I think we'd be looking at $8-9 a month.
No, I do too. So this is an incredible deal. The issue is that Klaus does not want to rent this to us sight unseen, and it's not going to last. So right now is the evening of July 30th.
Yes.
And we just literally made this decision today because Klaus needed answers.
He did need answers.
And
a signed contract.
Yeah. So we were just like, you know what? This has not been going well. We don't know that we're going to find another deal like this place in a city that we both love so much.
Flights are cheap to Amsterdam.
So cheap and so short. Like an hour-and-a-half flight right now is going to feel just so simple. So we literally 12 hours before this flight takes off, booked the flight, and we're like, fuck it, we're leaving.
Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow.
Yep.
So that's happening. We've got to be up super bright and early because we're on the first flight out.
We sure are.
So we were like, we got to pop a record on this.
We sure are, but we could have an apartment by noon tomorrow.
And for 2,000 euros per month.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In a sick location.
And it looks really big and pretty decent. I don't know how Klaus is going to take payment.
No, we'll have to figure all of that out. The other thing is that I think we're going to stay there a little bit longer, like at least 2 months. We have found while traveling, when we started this, we really thought we were going to do a different location every month.
That sounds exhausting.
It sounded like such a good idea. Well, back then, you and I had done workations before, but it would be like 2 weeks. We'd go somewhere for like 2 weeks.
Right.
And then we'd go home. And it always felt like, so I think a month just felt like it would be like forever, like the longest time. But it's not really. It goes really fast. And then when you factor in that like every time you move, you have to find the grocery store. Where does the trash go? What is the laundry situation? Where do we eat? Is there a coffee shop around here where we can get Wi-Fi? You're trying to make friends. You're trying to figure stuff out. It just builds in so many layers of complexity, to say nothing of the fact that like when you're hopping these crazy long flights, just zigzagging around the world like we do all willy-nilly, like it takes you, there's like a few days of recovery time. You basically lose the day of travel. Even with airport lounges and Wi-Fi, there's no way that you're ever going to be as productive. Like you might get some stuff done. You might be able to put out fires and like keep things afloat, but you're never able to like put in a day's work the way that you would if you were home somewhere.
No, it's better to be in one place for a little while. Also, if you're going to be in a place for a little while, Amsterdam seems like a wonderful option as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember of it, granted, we're going to be there in August, which is so great. I was only there for a few days and it was in January and it was cold, but I still remember it being just like the most beautiful city I had ever seen. It's like a magic fairyland.
So another complicating factor is that Klaus wants a finder's fee, which is 725 euros. So Klaus needs to get paid too.
And that's
Kelly.
euros. I really like to pretend that euros and dollars are the same thing.
No, plus 20% on the euro right now. So Klaus wants 725 euros as a finder's fee. Now, that's going to be paid whether we get it for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months.
Right. So we might as well stay longer.
If we stay longer, then we, I guess, spread out the cost of the finder's fee.
Well, and also then the finder's fee, we're kind of shifting over the part of the budget that would have been our plane ticket.
Right.
And then that becomes our finder's fee. Mm-hmm. So, because a gringa's got to stay on budget over here. Like, we're not trying to.
No, we got to stay on budget. And Prague has been cheap. So for the week we've been here.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about Amsterdam. I think it's going to be amazing.
I'm excited about it too. I am happy and proud of us that we decided to learn from our previous mistakes and get out of a situation that was less than ideal. We don't need to stay in it, sister.
Yeah, we don't. I think it's time to go. I wish we had seen more here. The only thing we really went to see was that castle, the Prague castle.
And so we walked up this hill. I wore my running heels.
That was a hill. No, there were like literally like people passing out on this giant hill. It's like these stairs that go up through like the center of the city, like up to where Prague Castle is, which apparently Prague Castle is the largest castle complex in the world. Which is crazy. I didn't know that. And there were literally like people like kind of like passing out on the stairs.
One guy literally was passed out. An ambulance was called. I didn't know how to help, so
luckily that wasn't us, but I wasn't far behind. I mean, that was a climb.
That was a climb. And then we get in there and it's hot. It's very sunny outside.
It was very hot.
And it smelled very European in that castle.
I really don't understand what Europeans have against deodorant, but I would really like them to reconsider their objections.
You don't have to go for the kind with aluminum in it. It's not going to work as well, but really something is better than nothing, guys.
Yeah, give us something.
There were so many tourists in that castle, and I don't know that I would have wanted to be on a tour because those tour groups were packed, like 20 people in a tight spot. And you're trying to listen to the tour guide, and instead all you can do is smell the guy standing next to you. I smelled the guy standing next to you as I walked by, and I gagged.
No, it was pretty brutal because it was just, I mean, the castle itself is gorgeous, but it's a hardcore old school castle. You're just in this like stone room somewhere and like the sun is beating down. And let me tell you, they were just more hardcore back in those days.
Maybe there were fewer tourists.
There were a ton of tourists. It was a really, really busy, but it was a beautiful day.
It was a beautiful day. I mean, it was a beautiful day to go to a hot, smelly castle and just bake with your friends and family.
We're such a delight. Like, fuck this castle.
It looked pretty cool. I'll give them that.
I mean, I'm glad we went, and I wish I had seen more of Prague. Like, I do have regrets about that. I hope that I will come back and see more of this city. But right now, we are so exhausted. We're still kind of sick. And I think that we just really need to be posted up somewhere that we can stay for a while so that we can focus on work and focus on getting better. And I just think that overall, this place in Amsterdam is going to be a much better situation for that.
Yeah, maybe focus on our dating game a little bit more. It's been a while.
It has been a minute for your girl.
You excited to get back on that horse, Kelly?
Spread my wings.
Is that what we're calling it these days?
Sure.
Okay.
Spread something.
On that note, let's go pack for the airport because we're leaving in like T-minus no time.
Yeah, let's do this. This has been another episode of the Workationing podcast. If you like what you've heard here, please consider donating at patreon.com/workationing. That's patreon.com. All proceeds will go towards funding our bucket list items.
To keep up with us in real time, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Workationing. Or on our website at, you guessed it, workationing.com. That's workationing.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You lead. And then you get to be all sassy with it. Not take this shit anymore. You know?
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I feel like you've got a deeper voice.
I got a lot of soul.
I've just got this little chipmunk voice over here. We're not going to take this shit anymore. You know?
We're not going to take this shit anymore.
Fuck off.
Just have a rage inside me.
Okay, all right.